Effective regional integration in West Africa requires an interconnected infrastructural network that meets the requirements of a strong, common and harmonized regional market. With over 300 billion inhabitants, the ECOWAS region, the Economic Community of West African States, is a dynamic market, but it also faces infrastructure challenges, whether in the areas of roads, railways, energy or telecommunications.
The name is infrastructure, energy and digitalization, but in reality this department includes 6 sectors. Transport covers all types of transportation, whether road, rail, maritime, air or river. It deals with energy in all its forms, whether conventional, renewable, hydrocarbon or others. We have the resources ourselves. We have the mines, telecommunications, and the postal service.
Since 2020, the ECOWAS Commission has implemented a master plan called the Master Plan for Infrastructure Development through to 2045. This plan aims to establish a community infrastructure network to facilitate the transport of goods and people with a duration of 25 years. It aims to support average economic growth of 6% per year in all countries in the region.
So we want all our member states to grow at an average of 6%. What that means is that if you take the GDP of any ECOWAS member state, it should be 6 or above, because it's an average. And for us to achieve this, we need an infrastructure base for industry, for tourism, for health, for education to grow on. And that is what we estimated in our master plan and prioritized the infrastructure projects in these sectors of transport, energy, digitalization, and water to be able to achieve this growth that we're looking at.
The development of interconnected infrastructure such as the Dakar-Praia, Dakar-Abidjan and Abidjan-Lagos corridor projects enables West African cities to overcome some of the challenges associated with regional integration. According to the ECOWAS Project Preparation Unit, intercommunity trade within ECOWAS accounts for approximately 11% of the region's total trade. By improving roads, railways, energy supply and telecommunications infrastructure, ECOWAS will facilitate trade, thereby reducing cost and strengthening competitiveness.
Nous avons la liaison
We have the Praia-Dakar link, a maritime link from Dakar to Côte d'Ivoire, crossing all the countries, Senegal, Gambia, Guinea-Bissau, and Guinea. It's the liberated region in Côte d'Ivoire, so it's the Praia-Dakar-Abidjan corridor that we are currently conducting feasibility studies for, as well as implementation studies. This is an ongoing project. We also have another much more advanced one, the Abidjan-Lagos corridor, 1,000 kilometers long, which crosses Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria. This one is at a very advanced stage. We have almost completed the implementation studies. It's at a cost of approximately $15 billion, and the next step is look for ways to finance this gigantic project through a public-private partnership, a private sector, or a group of private companies, at least in all forms.
Comment financer ce projet gigantesque.
These corridors are being developed as economic corridors. Now, economic corridors means we are not just building the roads for transportation's sake. We are developing these corridors to integrate economic development aspects. So when you take a corridor, for instance, from Dakar all the way to Lagos, we have zoned 100 kilometers to the left and right, and we are making sure that we develop industrial zones, manufacturing zones, farming areas, markets, and all other economic components that will lead to the economic development of the zone of influence.
Launched in January 2024, it is currently in its final study phase with technical validations and discussions regarding feasibility, engineering, and financial studies. The Praia-Dakar-Abidjan Corridor is a regional integration project that aims to create a road, rail, and maritime transport corridor between capital cities and port areas, crossing 8 countries within the ECOWAS region.
5 countries agreed to put in place a single agency called the Abidjan-Lagos Corridor Management Authority, ALCOMA. So we are establishing ALCOMA, and ALCOMA would manage the corridor on behalf of the 5 countries. So when you start your journey from Nigeria to Abidjan, you are not dealing with 5 governments, you are not dealing with 5 customs, you are dealing with one body. And all these are efforts that we are putting in place to make sure that movement of goods, persons are achieved very well. We are replicating this model on the Dakar to Abidjan corridor. Now, Dakar to Abidjan goes through 7 countries. Then we add Cape Verde, which is the island member states to it, so 8 countries. So from Cape Verde to Dakar, we got financing from the Africa Development Bank in 2023. We have done the feasibility study for a shipping line to start from Cape Verde to Dakar, Banjul, Bissau, and other ports. Now, what this shipping line will do will be to do short sea service to support the traders, the women who trade between Cape Verde and Senegal, Cape Verde and Gambia and other member states, to have a cheaper alternative to trade.
This project aims to optimize the transport of people and goods between member countries by integrating more than 3,000 kilometers of supranational highways, including 600 kilometers of maritime links. It thus aims to reduce trade barriers and shorten travel times. The total cost of this project is estimated at approximately $5 billion.
Cape Verde has been a member of ECOWAS since 1993. Naturally, we have signed the treaty relating to the Praia-Dakar-Abidjan corridor. For us, this is an important treaty, as it will allow Cabo Verde to be more integrated in the ECOWAS region. It will also strengthen trade between Cabo Verde and other ECOWAS countries. This justifies our participation in this meeting. This is an extremely important program, which is multimodal, with a highway component, which is currently the most advanced component, but also a rail component. To this program, we have added, as part of an addendum to the treaty, the maritime link between Praia, Dakar, and Abidjan. This is important because it creates a corridor that runs along the entire West African coast and is part of Trans-African Highway number 7, which is being developed within the framework of the African Union.
Alongside infrastructure projects in Africa, a study commissioned by ECOWAS analyzed the impact of this infrastructure, particularly airports, on the movement of people and goods in order to promote a more harmonized intra-regional trade.
So in air transport, for instance, we did a study with the International Air Transport Association and ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization, and we realized that air transport in the ECOWAS region is one of the most expensive. So we checked the contributory factors to why our tickets are so expensive. And expensive tickets means that our citizens are not traveling because they cannot afford air tickets. And that means that you are suppressing the free movement of people, which is a key flagship of ECOWAS. So to address this, the heads of states in 2024, in July, in Abuja, agreed to reduce the charges that governments levy on air transport. they also agreed to remove all taxes from air transport services. So together with the member states, we have committed that from 1st January 2026, all ECOWAS member states are going to, 1, remove all taxes from air transport, and 2, reduce charges by 25%.
Infrastructure development within ECOWAS is essential to address significant structural challenges in the region, particularly the low volume of intra-regional trade. However, this development faces several major obstacles, including the lack of adequate infrastructure and maintenance difficulties.
Pour les infrastructures énergétiques, il y a un...
For energy infrastructure, there is a very big word in English that can sum it up. Work in progress. To say that it's a work in progress. We have a number of satisfactory achievements. When you look at the West African level, we have all 14 continental states electrically interconnected. That's important. And we currently have cross-border trade. Every day, we have a significant volume of trade between the states. And that's also important. Unfortunately, on the other side, we have a transmission network. That's a bit again. We have some pre-production equipment that's aging. And on the other side, we also have a low access rate. When you look at the region as a whole, we can say 52% access to electricity. Those are the figures we generally give. But if you look at rural areas, it's much lower. There are some places where you have access to electricity at perhaps 20%. So that's a challenge to me. And of course, we are working on it. And I call that work in progress.
Nous y travaillons là-dessus et c'est ça, je dis que c'est work in progress.
Quand vous prenez le secteur de l'énergie, nous avons...
When you look at the energy sector, we have two main challenges. The first is the shortage of means of producing and transporting electrical energy. Because today, regionally, only 60% of demand is met. The remaining 40% is not.
Le reste 40% n'est pas satisfaite.
To foster regional economic integration, infrastructure development within ECOWAS remains a key lever. It promotes economic growth and contributes to poverty reduction. By adopting an integrated approach to transport and communications corridors, member states strengthen regional supply chains, facilitating trade and improving market access.